We're going to be in Narok. Country roads will be in Narok. Courtesy of
the one and only
the
senator
himself.
Absolutely.
Ledama Ole Kina.
Ndani ya nyumba.
Whom I have known for 40 years.
Before I was born.
Thank you.
Kama sivi unajua labda
Mzayange
Lazaro angefufuka.
Senator, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Good to see you, man.
Thank you very much.
This whole Sifuna controversy, right?
Yes.
He's been kicked out of the Secretary General seat.
Yeah.
It looks like ODM is split right down the middle. Your thoughts?
I'm not going to discuss the situation of Sifuna in details because Sifuna is my colleague. I respect him a lot. And he's got a right to be able to air his own opinion in terms of the direction that he wants to go and the direction that he wants to take the people of Kenya.
Yeah.
But I'll put it this way. Right now, we are indeed facing a tumultuous time.
Yeah.
It is quite difficult for us as a party because if I sit here and I lie to you that we are not divided, then I will just be making a fool of myself. The truth is we are pulling apart, but the one thing which is consoling me is the fact that no one has said I'm coming out of ODM. So these are internal wrangles, which I hope that within a short time, all of us will smell the coffee that when we weaken the party, we will be able to diminish our bargaining power come 2027.
Maybe they're afraid that if they leave the party, it's all by-elections throughout Nahanado.
No, of course they will not leave they will not resign from the party. They will not resign from the party. Because, I mean, there's history, other people who, you remember during the last parliament, there are people who completely walked away from the Jubilee administration, but they still stayed as members of parliament. You know, and also the court has already pronounced itself. So we're not going to have, what do you call it? We're not going to have by-election in anything. But you see, if your heart is not somewhere, you're as good as not being there at all.
As good as dead.
I just say the most consoling thing is that none of them have either uttered a word that I'm coming out of ODM. Everybody is saying, I am fighting from within, which is a good thing. Because I hope that one day all of us will get some sense together and we'll come back and agree to disagree and remain as one party.
And this youth leader of ODM,
Nani?
82-year-old.
Oh.
Youth leader. He's a great man. Oburu is a good man. Oburu is a member of, I'm his whip in parliament. He's my leader in the party. And he's a gentleman, very intelligent young man in quotes. but he's quite solid. And although I have to admit that Baba's shoes are quite big for anyone to fit in them, he will be able to balance one way or the other, you know.
Can he do it?
It's my prayer that he can be able to do it. It's not easy. It's very difficult because, you see, we have different generations.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't think, Jeff, you would have been able to tell a Gen Z not to protest.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
You would end up being, you know, beaten up and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
So the thing is, of course, people will protest, people will say their way. But ultimately, I'm consoled by the fact that, of course, the minority will always have their say, but the majority will have their way, you know. So really, whoever becomes a majority, ultimately. The good thing is that ODM is a democratic party. We are indeed going to have an NDC. And during the NDC, everyone is going to be there.
Yeah.
You know, we're democratic. So people will say, I want to be a candidate. You know, I want to run for SG or somebody who wants to be elected for what. And ultimately, the party, ODM is a party for Kenyans. You know, it is the only party that encompasses all tribes. In Narok, I'm proud to say that I'm an ODM member. You know, a core person in ODM, solid, loyal to the core. When you go to Northeastern, you'll find people who will say, I'm ODM. If you go to Eastern Province, you'll find people who will say, I'm ODM. You go to the coast, I'm ODM. Leave alone Nyanza and Western. So the truth of the matter is that this party represents everybody in the country. So ultimately, during the NDC in March, people will decide which way to go.
How come Senator Ledama Ole Kina has been so silent during this whole controversy? Why have you been so silent?
First of all, I've been mourning Raila. I'm still mourning Raila because he played a critical role in uniting this country. And, you know, as an elected leader, there's something which I respect the most which is a sense of occasion. What occasion are we on now? We are at a time when we need to see development in our region. You know, Jeff, if you traverse this country, you'd be shocked with the amount of development that is coming in. Today I was just switching through my phones, and I could see someone making a small, some content saying, do you remember that, you know, sort of like that narration of the different parts of Northeastern where the road is going to be built? And currently the road is being built there. If you look at Narok County, the airport is almost complete. Because there are so many
You have an
ACS.
airport in Narok?
Yes, the airport is coming up in Narok.
Come on.
I'm for real. I'm not even bullshitting you. I mean, the airport, the runway is almost done. You know, the terminus building is about to start being constructed. And then we have got tarmac roads that where we didn't have any, you know. So really, when I see this development, I fly all the time. I take the chopper all the time. I see a lot of affordable housing coming up in every county. I've seen them in Uasin Gishu. I was in Uasin Gishu the other day. I've seen them here in Nairobi. I've seen them in Narok coming up. So really, there's time for everything. And the time right now, and this is the reason why I'm quiet, is the time to see whether we can develop this country, you know, with facts. You know, there's so many activities going on. So really, if I was disgruntled in a way that certain services are not coming to my county, of course you'll be hearing me making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
You know.
And what you're saying without telling us is that you're happy with the current regime.
I'm content. There's a difference between saying I'm happy
Yeah.
and being content. I am happy
Yeah.
that I am alive to see what is going on, but I'm content with the level of development that is spreading across the entire country.
So are you saying in simple terms, are we heading to Singapore?
I think if we all believe that we're going to be heading, it's a road to, I'll probably not say Singapore, but I'll say it's a road to development, to emancipation, you know. And we need to remember that as a third world country, or as a developing country, we're already enslaved by the Western nations. The Bretton Woods institutes, IMF and World Bank. If you see what is happening today, IMF alone has lent Kenya 480 billion shillings. That's punishment for the future generation. So I hope that we can be aware of what is going to happen, you know, so that whenever we are demanding things, we know that if you demand 600 kilometers of tarmac road in Kiambu County, you demand 600 kilometers of tarmac road in Narok County, the only way you can be able to get those two is either we overtax Kenyans or we borrow.
Yeah.
That's the reality. And that's the thing that people do not want to understand. That for things to happen, you have to borrow, you have to have money.
Yeah.
You cannot just print money.
And borrowing we have,
You know?
taxation, a lot of
agree.
looting.
Agree.
There's a lot of a lack of accountability.
I agree with you 100%. The Council of Governors were not happy with being embarrassed, in quotes, that they are spending money they ought not to spend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That they are voiding transactions. You know, they are overpaying. There's something we call transaction limits, where they know there's a limit that they cannot pay this vendor up to this amount. They split those vouchers so that but they ended up overpaying him. There's a lot of money laundering in our counties. But then the county governors went to Mombasa in one of these, there's a funny body called the Council of Governors, which really, it's a funny unity, because by law it's only set up to be able to lobby for county government development. It is not to lobby for immunity, you know. So when they are called before the Senate, they say we will not appear because we are being embarrassed. Listen, how many times, Jeff, are we as leaders not insulted? Recently, Jeff, people killed you.
Yeah.
You know?
I was at Lee.
I mean, you were at Lee.
Yeah.
The people say the activities happened. Does that change you from being alive?
No.
They didn't. So really, as a leader, when you become a leader, you need to grow some thick skin.
Senator, are you saying that we have devolved corruption?
Yes, we have. And I'll tell you how the governors make money. The governors get money from their chief officers, you know, because you see, there's no governor who signs for any expenditures. But the truth of the matter is, if you look at Article 179 of the Constitution, it says that the executive authority of the county is vested and exercised by the executive committee. When you go to 179.4, it sets the county governor as the CEO of that county. You know, and the deputy as the deputy CEO, and then there are those 10 CCs. Those 10 CCs have got chief officers. They are like the PSs. Those are the ones who sign the money. You know, the CC in charge of treasury is the head of treasury in the county government.
Right.
So the way that governors get money, they think we are naive. You know, but lucky enough, my 10 years, almost 10 years now in the Senate, has exposed me to details on how corruption is being orchestrated in counties. Because what they do is that they requisition money from the COB. When they do, they say we are going to pay Iguza. But when that money comes in, they pay Jeff.
Wow.
Okay?
Precisely.
So your money will continue being a pending bill. Now, we've changed from a cash basis of accounting, where after every financial year, they say, how much did we give you? Like now, for instance, for my county of Narok is about, in total, let's say the budget was about 17 billion. And then there was a shortfall of the budget of about 2.7 billion. So the money which was available was about 14 billion. That 14 billion encompasses a lot of money. There's shareable revenue, which was around 9 billion, 9.something billion. There's ONSO's revenue, which was around 5.9 billion. And then there are grants. But then when the grants delay to come, there's a budget shortfall. But then now what happened is that if the county government is making their budget based on their county integrated development plan, which is their CIDP, when they make that CIDP, then say, like, I'll give you a good example of my county of Narok. We've got 30 wards. So practically, the way the county governors ought to do is to say, out of these 30 wards, this is our CIDP. They scan the horizon. They say what is happening in these wards, and then they split the money based on that. So they come. Jeff comes, is a contractor. I say I want to do this road. You know, you're given the contract. You start working. You finish. You submit certificate. You're not paid. That becomes a pending bill. Come June 30th. Yeah. But now, because of the problems of the pending bills, from, you know, with a cash basis of accounting, we've now moved to what is called an accrual basis of accounting. So the pending bills end up changing the names to trade payables. So you'll find a small county that has got a very small budget, you know, a small amount of money in terms of their development or their recurrent expenditures, that will have trade payables in the tune of about 6 billion, yet their only shareable is about maybe 4 or 5 billion. A county like Nairobi has got almost 100 billion in trade payables. People have committed suicide.
Precisely.
You know, people have
businesses
gone gaga.
have shut.
Businesses have shut because of the indiscipline that we've devolved into the counties. You know, but is it enough to say that we do away with counties? No. What is there is that we need all of us to understand that the only way to end the gangs, which are creeping up in every urban centers, is for each county government to re-engineer its own CIDP and say, in Narok today, for instance, probably if you look at the youth between the ages of 18 to 35, they're probably there 60%. So your budget must be inclined to the 60% of the youth. You must come up with ideas on how these youth can work. Projects that you know will be able to put food on the table for these 60 youth. But then now, if you have a friend in Nairobi or a friend in Mombasa, who is the friend that you are giving these contracts and leaving your people on the ground, of course, the reason why you're giving your friend in Mombasa or Nairobi is because of corruption.
And you're getting a cut.
And you're getting a big cut. So that's the problem. And those are the things that we were able to, the Auditor General has already been able to observe, raises a concern. And I can tell you this, Jeff, I think the people who really do not understand their job in this country today is ODPP and ESCC. Because they have got so much fodder for prosecution. But I don't know whether they are timid, they're scared. And now that we are going into an election year, nothing will move.
Yeah.
Because everybody will be like, oh, who's going to win? If I attack this person, will I be maintaining this seat? Seriously?
Because we've seen you, Senator, grilling a lot of these
Yes.
officers, and you normally prove to them that they embezzled or misused
Yes.
public funds. But what happens after that?
We don't audit counties. Our job is to try and mitigate and come in between the auditor and the counties to be able to see what happens. You know, it is important for Kenyans to understand the audit process, what happens. And by law, I think it's Section 35 of the Public Audit Act. In the Public Audit Act, if you look at Section 35, it sets out the process of audit, where the auditors come, and then when they come, they have something called an entry meeting, either 35 or 31, one of the two. They have an entry meeting where they tell you, okay, gentlemen, this is who we are. These are the areas that we want to audit. You sit down together. And in that meeting, the governor ought to be there. You sit there, you discuss and say, okay, these are the things that ought to be audited. You go through, and then now the governor walks away, leaves his finance people. They give the auditors all that information. The auditors go ahead, they audit, and then they have something called an exit interview or meeting. At the exit meeting, they say, okay, we've audited all these things. These are some of the issues we need more information on. They are given. And then say, okay, we will go now, and we will give you, in 2 weeks' time, we'll give you something called a management letter. And in that management letter, you will be given 14 days to be able to respond to the issues that the auditors have raised, to be able to substantiate. When you do not do that within the 2 weeks, the auditor renders their opinion. Now, by the time they come to the Senate, whatever the auditor has said, you know, is as good as the gospel truth. Because they have looked at your finances, they have given you an opportunity to say this is not true, or this is true, or this is how we do it. So the Senate comes in to mitigate. So when we are mitigating, it is like trying to come in and solve a problem between the two of you. If you come before me as a judge now, I listen to you and I listen to you. If you've got nothing to say and everything is saying you are agreeing to, then you're guilty. So we come out with a guilty verdict and say you're guilty. So we then send those recommendations to the ODPP, ESCC for further investigation and prosecution. I think, to be honest with you, we need to change the law so that the moment you've appeared before Parliament, which is supposed to help mitigate, and the parliamentary report comes out to say we agree with the Auditor General, in fact, you should either resign, go to jail,
or pay back.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, and let me tell you, the governors have started a war which they will never win. Because what will a senator lose? Hypothetically speaking, if let's say a governor was to come and give a senator some money, hypothetically speaking, did the senator take a gun and put it in the head of that governor?
No.
A governor should just come, go to the meeting, and present the documents. What they're afraid of is they're afraid of being removed their clothes to walk naked. Because what they have been doing is corruption. They have been lining their pockets. Most of these people, Jeff, were living in Parklands. Most of them were living in South B. Most of them were living in, in Nairobi. You know, but now, my brother, they have manicured mansions. They have a fleet of the most expensive vehicles.
Yeah.
Okay? Let me tell you. In fact, the neighborhood they live, they barely know their neighbors. You know? And guess what?
What?
A lot of them, all the apartments in Eastlands, the apartments in Parklands, apartments in Nairobi, everything which is coming up in Nairobi, it's owned by the governors. Do a random check and see how many.
And yet they don't live in Nairobi.
And they don't live in Nairobi.
I told you he walked across America.
Yes,
Senator,
I did.
what was that like? I mean, what made you do that?
And when was that?
You know, the first time I walked across America was in 1998.
Wow. How old were you?
98,
You were
I was
13.
in class 7.
You were
You're in
13.
class 7.
Yeah.
So I walked through the Four Corners
13.
region, which is from Colorado all the way down through New Mexico, Utah, and Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. And what made me walk is that I came to bury a very good friend of mine who was a Kenyan cultural ambassador to the U.S. His name was Tom Ole who had inspired me a lot to want to go to the States.
Yeah.
This is a guy who never went to school. We were together in school up to class 4. And then after class 4, the guy dropped out because he was a warrior when he was in school. And I used to help him do a lot of different things. And immediately after, when he died, I came to Kenya because I left for the US in 1995. Came to bury him. I met all the friends that I had. Some of them had already gotten married. They had 2 kids. Some of them, they had 2 kids. Their wife was pregnant with a third kid.
Yeah.
And all of them were telling me, dude, just get me a scholarship to go to America. You know, help me. Get me a job. Or help me with, my kid, my 3-year-old kid now needs money to go to school. Oh, and all that stuff. Oh, my relatives are taking care. So that really bothered me. And that time, there were so many young Maasai girls who were being forcefully married off.
Yeah.
You know, others, female circumcision was at its peak. You know, if you look at the population of women who are being circumcised, young girls, it had really surged. And it really worried me because I had young sisters who were also facing the same challenge. And so when I went back to the States, I thought a lot. And I said, look at me here. I have everything that I want. I have a car. I have an apartment. I go to class. I mean, I've got everything, literally everything. I can go back I have a job. I'm a student, but I also have a job. I'm earning money. I must do something. So I just thought about it, and I didn't tell Jeff this earlier on, but of course I'd read a little bit. I'd watched Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump, that's
know,
right. I was about to say that. Yes.
I might as well just do this. So I started practicing. And that's why I say Eric Omondi should have spoken to me. Because I would have prepared him
Probably.
on what it takes. You have to prepare yourself mentally, physically. You have to walk, and do a lot of exercises back and forth, so that you're mentally prepared. And figure out if you're going to be walking. Because I was walking a minimum of 50 miles a day.
Miles or kilometers?
80 kilometers.
Come on.
50 miles a day. 50.
In a day.
That's from here to
50.
past Big. I think that's 40.
80. Hapa Thika na kurudi.
Yes.
Nakurudi,
Back to
Nakurudi.
Thika and coming back. And it's not near. It's very far. So I'd wake up very, very early in the morning. So then I just thought, you know what? All these problems, I can do something. It's almost like the story of a young kid who is by the ocean. And every time the water is coming in, he throws in some starfish. And the kid keeps on throwing one. And then someone says, what are you going to do? The population of young girls who are being circumcised, who are being forcefully married off in the Maasai community is more than you can ever help. Do you think you can help everybody? Then I said to myself, at least I would have saved one. Because, when the starfish is coming back, if you throw him, keep on throwing, at least one would be washed by the waves and it goes. So then I started a project called Maasai Education Discovery. And when you're in the States, if you're smart enough, you can make a lot of money. So I used to do a lot of lectures about our culture. I used to do a lot of lectures about African politics and development. I was studying political science. So at least I knew. And what Jeff didn't tell you is that when Jeff came in back to Kenya from when he was working for a TV station in New York City.
New York City.
Moamin
Yes.
offered him a job.
Yeah.
That's right.
And by then I was working for a gentleman called Gerard Williams who was working for Moamin. So Jeff came in and all of us started working together. But immediately Jeff started working. Then I took off to the States.
Yeah. 95.
95. Yes, in August 95.
Correct.
But then I kept on following. We had a wonderful woman who was a graphic designer. What was her name? You remember her?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
She was very, very good.
Yes.
And then, he was working for Reuters and African Journal.
Yeah.
And I was also working for Reuters and African Journal. In fact, we were the people who started with Carol Radul.
Yes.
Carol Radul used to do voiceovers.
Yes.
Nice.
Imagine.
Back then, it was really, really good. And then it used to be aired on TV on KTN.
And also in
And
Ethiopian
then
Airlines.
Ethiopian Airlines used to had so many.
By the way, Africa, everyone loved that show.
African Journal.
Everyone, right? Munasukumuka.
African Journal was really good.
Top show.
Jeff, you should start it again.
I should, huh?
You should think about it. Yes.
Did it pay off? All these walks?
It
paid off?
It did. It did.
The support you got?
I mean, the most I ever got paid for 1 hour lecture was $50,000. So I would go to schools, and schools I would charge about $1,555.
Yeah.
And that is only for my time for lecturing. You know, they'd pay for my flight.
Yeah. Hotel.
They would pay for my hotel,
Food.
food, pick me up.
Yeah.
But for that 1 hour that I'm lecturing. So in a school, I could do like 3 or 4 lectures in a day. So I had so much money, yet I'm so young. What am I going to do with all this money?
Yeah.
So I just decided to put it into my organization. So I started funding my organization. And then, of course, I also got an opportunity to work with the USAID. They came in, they saw what I was doing, they pumped in some money. I came in here. I remember I stayed at the Hilton, and from the Hilton I stayed at the Sarova, and every single day I would wake up at 3 in the morning, and I would drive to Namanga, I would drive to Loitoktok, I would drive to Nakuru, Samburu, I would drive to Narok to look for young girls who were being forcefully married off and take them back to school.
Yeah.
I knew every school in Kenya.
In Kenya.
You know, if when you go to Kajiado County, I knew Olosios. And Omatasiani, I need Isinya. You know, you go to every school. Then I just said, look, I really have to give back. So I did. I started with young girls. In total, during the time of about 10 years, I sponsored over 25,000 girls.
What?
Yes. A lot of them professors now. A lot of them work in the finance sector. I took 3. In fact, if you go on Google right now and you just say, we did a documentary on Al Jazeera and just say witness plus Masai. You can do it.
Right,
you will see.
the witness program on Al
You will
Jazeera.
see a program where I took how many are there? 3 or 4 girls. I think 3 girls back to the States. You know, and got them a full scholarship at Chicago State University for their education, paid for their living and everything. They are now, some of them I think they are now doctors or whatever they are.
Yeah.
I mean, many years doesn't really matter. It's just like. You paid forward. I just told them paid forward.
Paid forward.
I'm doing it for you. You just do it. Paid forward.
that'd be
So
great.
if you're asking me whether it paid off, it did because I'm a senator now.
Yeah. Real quick, yeah. How did you get into politics? Real quick.
Well, I got pissed off by seeing all these things that I'm doing, helping the community, and I'm not a policy maker.
Yeah.
So I knew that if I had some power, then it would help me, bring together the policy and my philanthropic nature. So that's the reason why I did it.
And how was it in your first dive into politics?
I think at first I did volunteer during Barack Obama's campaign. Volunteered in the States, and then I landed, and then I said, look, I'm going to come and run for president. And that was way back. So I came into Kenya. When I came into Kenya, loaded, had tons of money. I hired Boniface Mwangi to take pictures for me.
Who's now running for president?
Who's now running for president. So we went across Kenya. And then I remember when I got to Kisumu, I was talking to a group at Kisumu, Kisumu Hotel.
Yeah.
And we had a long chat. I didn't know much about Raila. I'm not going to lie to you back then. I didn't know how powerful he was and strong. I mean, I was way back. It was a long time ago. And then I told them, listen, I'm coming in. Because, when I came in, I didn't know jack shit about Kenyan politics. I just thought it's where we can level.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing that I didn't, the way I behaved then is what I'm seeing a lot of young people behaving now. Because Kenyan politics is dirty. So after speaking to sort of like a hall full of people, the moment we finished it, I just started hearing people saying "gonya gonya," "gonya gonya."
Did you know what that meant?
I knew nothing. So someone told me. I asked, "What are they saying?" They say they want money.
What?
Asked Boniface Mwangi. I had 60K in my pocket. It was all taken away. We were beaten. We were rescued by some. I'm so fond of being beaten, man. That's why I beat people now. Once you're beaten too many times, then you actually now start being the gangster.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
You proclaim yourself as a gangster.
Yes.
So then I knew back then that I had something to give back. I started really doing research a lot. And being a student of political sciences, I knew that the best thing for me is to get into politics. But then in 2013, when we changed and we got the new constitution, I came in, when was it? December 2012, came back from the States.
3 months before the
3
elections.
months before the elections, decided to run. And then guess what? Out of 7 people who were running for governor, I was number 7. My lucky number.
Yes.
So you tried running for governor then?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the guy who who became governor, didn't actually win. So I fought him for 4 years. And then when I ran for Senate, the person who came number 2, I beat him with 80,000 votes.
What?
80. 80,000 votes.
And now you have a second term.
My second term, I still beat them with, this time I think I beat them with 100,000 votes.
And so what happens come 2027?
That's the question. That's the question.
What I can tell you is that with the death of Raila, a lot of things, all our ideas and aspiration got messed up. So currently we're observing to see what happens. We are cognizant of the fact that there's something called the sense of occasion. Right now as a senator, I want to do my job as a senator. Then I will come and start campaigning, next year when he's about to campaign. By then, I can come and tell you this is what I'm running for.
But where's your heart? Where's your heart?
You're not ruling out the presidency, are you?
For now, yes, I am. But not ruling out in future, because I believe that I have a lot to offer. I believe that, this country can change. And one day, God willing, maybe 2032, when I run for president, I don't want to run and not win. I want to run and win. And if I do, the first culprit or the first person to be kicked out of this country will be the IMF and the World Bank. Those Bretton Woods institutes.
Out.
Don't like them, hate them, because they have enslaved us. We have to be fully emancipated. We are not.
Emancipate yourself
from mental slavery.
None but yourself can free your mind. And I think when you look at it, African countries are becoming woke. They are understanding what is happening. Look at West Africa.
Burkina
Look
Faso.
at Burkina Faso.
Niger, Senegal,
look at, Mali. People are looking at, we just need to realign our existing resources and wake up and end corruption. That's all we need to do. But we need to have this conversation when everybody has got something to eat. Right now, if we go out and you go to Kibera or you go out in the other street and you tell people, I'm going to be president, they'll be like, okay. Yeah, they'll listen to you and wonder, what are you going to give me? So we need, right now, let me tell you, the only time that we will end gangs, we will end these robberies, we'll end all these sort of like
the rots in
disgruntledness in the youth, is when county governments can agree to re-engineer their CADPs to make sure they develop projects that put money into their own counties. I am tired of seeing people migrating from Western Kenya to Nairobi. I am tired of seeing people moving from Narok to Nairobi. And that is why I'm so happy that now development is moving to Narok. This year alone, we've got Quickmart, we've got Kafu is coming up. It's happening. Art Cafe is there.
And Java
is there. And Kanasa is there. All these guys are, people are now coming in. We're building industries. We're coming up with building industry, creating jobs. So, and I think what this government is doing is currently trying to create a good environment for businesses to thrive. So all county governments now need to start sort of like borrowing a leaf, from other counties so that we can be able to develop.
Are you able to speak to the president? Do you have access?
Absolutely. Why not?
You have access?
Yes, so do you.
Then, if you have access,
do you pick up the phone and call him?
Absolutely.
And he picks it up?
Yes. I'm pretty sure if you call him right now, he'll pick up and say, hey, Jeff, what's up?
Jose William Janamo, he's asking, uliza senator kama 2027 atapanda kwa podium pale Bomas kama 2022.
Siku hiyo nilikuwa na rungu moja, siku hiyo ndakuwa na mbili. Kwa sababu juzi Eldoret, ule mwenye aliiba ile kichwa ya rungu yangu, ule anye niligonga ikavunjika, amesema atanirudishia. Sasa itakuwa mbili.
Bas.
Amazing kabisa.
A lot of responses. People are loving the senator and the way he's speaking and his ambitions and his youth. Youth is very important in this.
And away from politics, do you have a hand in business?
Absolutely.
Are you entrepreneurial?
Yes, I am.
Talk to us.
Well, a couple of things, and one day I'll take you on a trip. Just like I took Jeff on a helicopter ride
all the way to
Masai Mara, to the Mao Forest to show him. We actually, first of all, landed for breakfast at Isaac
Ruto's house.
Ruto's house.
Yes, indeed.
Nice.
In Bomet.
You know, here's the thing. I'll tell you something. I believe that as a leader, you must lead in all fronts. I'm very happy that currently one of the biggest industries in Narok is US truly, which is in the dairy sector. Like I said, you must realign your existing resources to say, what do you have that you can work with? What do we have in Narok? We have cows, we have wheat, we have milk, we have the Masai Mara. You know, we have this agricultural produce. Let me say agricultural produce. Now, the key most important thing is for you to ask yourself, how can I make money in agriculture? There's something called agritourism. There are people who have got no clue what agriculture is all about. I was very lucky President Museveni gave me 20 Ankole cows.
Oh my goodness.
You know, now they are about 30 something. So the first thing I'm going to do for all the tourists who are coming to Narok is I'll set up a proper Ankole farm where people can pay me $50 to see that cow. Otherwise, you go to Uganda and see it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
So that is money. Right now, what we're doing is that in Kilgoris, in Narok West, I've already built milk cooling centers. You know, we are now collecting all the milk from the farmers. We process that milk there. We have a big market in Narok.
Yeah.
The problem we have nowadays is that, listen, and this is one of my pet peeves, is that those who have so much have so little. And those who have so little have so much. You know, when you look at our situation in Narok as an example, we produce a lot of milk, probably about 500,000 liters. Every single day you will see trucks coming from Narok, going to Githunguri, going to Mount Kenya, going to Nairobi to make ice cream, to make yogurt. Why not make that in Narok? That is the decision I made.
Yeah.
So now I said, and this is happening, that you know that the way they normally say that in front of you, the car in front of you is always a Toyota?
Yes.
Then I said, the truck in front of you is always going to be an Kanasa cow. You know, so we started with buying one truck. We just bought a second truck so that we collect all the milk there, process there, and now sell the milk to the people. We are exporting now milk up to South Sudan.
What?
Okay, from our farm.
Are you
And I
making-
will invite. Yes,
are you
I am.
making yogurt?
I'm
Yogurt?
making beautiful Greek yogurt. You know, I forgot. I should have brought you some.
And
Greek
cheese.
We're making cheese.
Oh,
You know, seriously, we're making
I
cheese.
love cheese, man.
You know, we're making yogurt.
Yeah.
We'll soon start making butter. You know,
called-
and all these things. Listen to me. All these things have one big impact in the community,
Yeah.
creating jobs, creating employment. Last November, I teamed up with KCB Bank, and we sponsored 100 students in Masai Mara University to do agribusiness and financial literacy and artificial intelligence.
Wow.
You know, Jeff, when you and I were in the States,
Yeah.
when the internet was coming up,
Yeah.
people said the internet is going to make millionaires.
Yes.
Now AI is going to make billionaires.
With
If
a big-
people, you know, people have to follow. So these 100 students that we
Sponsoring.
sponsored, you know, they graduated. Now, the biggest headache that I have, which I'm trying to figure out with all the different industries, is where to put them to be attached, so that we can be able to give them jobs.
Yeah.
Jeff, we are creating rest areas. We are creating outlet malls in Narok. You know, we want you to come to Narok and enjoy what Narok is all
When
about.
is that airfield, airport going to
The
be open?
airport should be done definitely, no later than the end of this financial
And
year.
large aircrafts will be able to land?
Yeah, you can land an Embraer 190.
Are you going to get deals with other countries to
Well,
land?
the thing we're going to do, yes, we're now talking to Turkish Airlines, we're talking to different airlines, so that they can fly directly from Europe to Narok. And let me tell you what's going to happen.
Wow.
We will close all airports inside the Masai Mara, all airstrips. And I know the folks at Wilson are crying. They're saying, oh, it's not possible. Yes, it is possible. You know, what my motto going forward is that if you build it, they will come.
If you build it, they will come.
What movie was that?
Field of
Field of
Dreams.
Dreams.
Kevin Costner, James
know?
Earl Jones.
Yes.
My question.
Yes.
Who's building the airport?
Now, very interesting. The airport, the airstrip, or rather the runway, is being financed by KAA through their balance sheet. Kenya Airports Authority.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
The terminal building is being funded by Narok County government. Okay, so as we speak right now, KAA is almost done. We have a wonderful contractor. There's a gentleman called, I can't remember his name, but he'll kill me for not remembering his name. But his construction company is called WAK, W-A-K. And they are doing fantastic, fantastic.
So it's going to be owned by the county government.
No, you see, an airport cannot be owned by the county government. But if you look at the constitution, it's very clear. Article 187 through to 189 talks about cooperation between the county governments and national government. So KAA, Kenya Airports Authority, will own the airport. But of course, there are businesses. There's a terminal building. It has to be paid for.
Immigration.
There's immigration.
Customs.
There's all customs. There's all different things.
Yeah.
People will make money. There's concessions. There's candy shops.
Yeah.
There's gift shops.
Java.
There's liquor stores. There are
cafe.
restaurants and everything.
So all the 4x4s will be lighting up to pick up the tourists.
Yes, and we'll be creating so many jobs for the youth in Narok. People who are now learning. We have a tour guiding school in Narok called Kuyaki Guiding School. It is training a lot of guides. And that is why I'm all for a lot of huge businesses. And that's why I was livid. And let me just put it this way. I was flabbergasted by the negative publicity of the Ritz-Carlton. Because they were doing everything right. But you know what? Because of business competition, back and forth, you'll find that this group wants to compete against this group and this group. But I'm now happy that it's out of the way. And we are making good progress. And we are developing the county.
Listen, Senator, finally, WSR is number 5, right? Senator's lucky number is?
Number 7.
7.
You may want to wait until number 7.
I look forward to that. So just spell it out.
Number 7.
Ledama Ole Kina will be your 7th president.
Inshallah.
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 Inshallah.